Hello again. So I don't know if I'll upload this the day I'm recording, which is the 18th of March, or in a day or two, but I decided I want to talk about some tips for when you're in AP art, and some tips to avoid or help recover from burnout. Like, art block, artistic burnout, whatever you want to call it, while in AP art, especially when it's getting closer to the deadline of having to submit everything. First off, I want to talk about the current requirements in AP art and what it's changing to this coming year. So currently, you're required to have 12 breath pieces, 12 concentration pieces, and 5 quality pieces. Your breath is supposed to show a range of skill, ability, subject matter, etc. And this can be work you've gotten from the previous year, but it should still be good work. It doesn't matter what medium. Concentration it has all a same theme or topic that ties it all together. Some people will use all the same medium. I'm not, but other people have gotten good scores with using a variety of mediums, as long as it kind of follows a topic. In my personal opinion, I think some of the best topics are not just something that's very surface level, where it's like, oh, I'm doing portraits, or I'm drawing animals. So you should have, I think it's good to have kind of a narrative, and kind of make it not a comic per se, but kind of have this flow. We've got a beginning, middle, and an end. That's kind of how I'm trying to work through it. And it doesn't have to look like a story, but if it means a story, I think that's really good. And then quality. Quality are 5 pieces that you have to physically send in. I think they have to be smaller than 18 by 24. However, if it's on a piece of paper, it can't be that big because you have to mat it or mount it. If it was that big, you'd have to mount it to a piece of foam. And you can't send in, well, you can, but it's really iffy to send in a canvas because that can get fucked up. Okay. But soon they're taking away the breath section. So now it's just going to be quality and concentration. I don't remember how many pieces it's going to be, but I think that's going to be 18 maybe for concentration. I'm not sure. So you're going to have a bigger concentration, and you're not going to be able to show breath at all, which kind of sucks, because I feel like if you have a weaker concentration but you're really good at a variety of things, you're just not good at pulling together a topic. I feel like taking away breath is kind of disadvantaging some of those people. But if you're also really good at one particular thing and you suck at everything else, it's good for those people. So, some tips I have for getting started. It kind of depends on your situation going into the class. Some schools offer a summer prep course where you can work on your concentration before school even starts. My school didn't do that. This is our first year having AP art. Yay, art department funding lacking. We love that. And some people, my whole point kind of relies on, do you have your breath done going into going into the fall semester? But there's no longer breath, so it doesn't even matter. So what you want to do is, you have to identify whether you have art for your concentration already. If you don't, then you're obviously going to start it. I don't recommend jumping straight in. That's kind of what I did. I had an idea and I did pieces for it, and I've already eliminated some of those. I think I have 16 different pieces for my concentration, and I've already gotten rid of some of them and replaced some of them with new things or redone them because they didn't fit anymore, and I wasn't happy with them. And I started the 3rd week of September, and I really feel like it was It's good and it was bad. So I recommend doing thumbnails and building your idea with sketches and finalizing it with small pieces first, and then move on to more finalized stuff. The opposite of what I did, instead of just jumping straight into it. Some tips of what to do and what not to do. These, of course, these are all my opinion, so you take them with a grain of salt. I'd say, so you already form your idea, make it deep, use symbolism, and create thumbnails. Don't just go with the first thing that comes to your head when you're creating a piece. Make a couple thumbnails. Find out which one does the composition best. There's also, this goes, there's studio, so it's AP studio art, but then there's drawing and 2D. 2D, it's about the principles of art and design, whereas drawing, they want to see your mark making ability. So for a good piece for 2D would maybe be something with a pretty radial balance and a good unity of colors. And while that's good to have for drawing, they want to see the different kind of marks and texture you can bring in, and show the kind of just your drawing skill, or painting. That's also mark making, but for 2D you can use like photography and stuff. Whereas drawing, if you were to use photography, you'd have to alter it with mark making. So like drawing on it, painting on it, digitally manipulating it with paint strokes or something. But so back to the what to do tips. You want to work at a relatively small size, not something huge. Maybe like the size of a standard piece of paper is a really good size. It's not too big, but it's not too small. You'll get it done probably within a week. But that also means that you have more time to work on things that you might want to do bigger or in more cumbersome mediums like oil paint. It also means that if you were to use oil paint, it will be a faster process. They're also easier to store, and it's the best size for like sending in to the quality, because you can draw from your concentration and breath to be the 5 pieces for quality, or you can do 5 new pieces. I'm doing a mix of a couple new pieces and a couple pieces from my concentration. And this is, pet peeve, people using photos from Pinterest, just directly referencing them and then tagging it on Instagram as AP Studio Art. And it's like, stop. Stop using property that's not yours. Like, it's perfectly okay to do a study, but what is not fucking okay is to send it in for a grade. I mean, your final, it's the exam for that course. That's what your scores are. That is not okay. It's never okay. So if you're using a reference, use a photo you photographed or a friend photographed that gave you permission. Don't ever copy a photo from Pinterest or whatever kind of photo board, forums, whatever. So what not to do, don't use photos off Pinterest. I don't recommend working overly large, because then you're not going to be able to send it in, and it's going to take you like a month, and before you know it, you're behind, and you're not going to be able to make the however number of pieces it is that you have to send in at the beginning of May. And that sucks. And depending on the school might be making you pay for the exam. Sometimes the schools pay for the AP scoring, sometimes the student has to. And if you're paying for it, it's a waste of money. Don't do what everyone else is doing. A lot of people are probably going to do things like, I'm exploring emotions, I'm exploring my progression or myself, I'm doing, or what are some other ones? Some people might be doing fairy tales or, here's the thing. These aren't inherently bad ideas, but you're probably going to have a couple people in your class doing the same thing. Now, it's okay to want to do something. I mean, I'm personally doing like an exploration of myself and my self-concept. This part where I say "and my self-concept." That's it's a kind of a cool psychology word, and it makes you set apart from just somebody who's saying, "I am painting my experience of blank." If you're doing emotions, maybe stick to one like spectrum of emotions and say, "I'm doing emotions that I feel when I am that I feel when I am between a rock and a hard place, and the emotions that I feel and the ones that help me get out of that." Do something like that instead of just doing, "Oh yeah, I'm doing emotions," because then it's kind of like, well, okay, Pixar's Inside Out. I don't know. Or people who are like just doing like photos of like their family or pets or whatever, and I'm like, okay, but like you have to talk about the meaning. It can't just be the surface level, "I'm doing my pets," or "I'm doing my family." It's like, well, why are you doing all your family? What place did they hold in your heart that you're going to complete a entire portfolio of them? So you want to stand out and make it an individual concept, even if it kind of stems from a very basic idea. And okay, I have nothing against anime art, but do not do anime for your AP portfolio. A lot of people who are on the AP board are going to see that and think, "Oh, they don't know how to draw." And when we had somebody who used to be a judge come in and talk to us about the process and critique our art, and he said that for like quality and for everything, they only ever give it a quick glance. They're going to see anime art and think, "Oh, they have no technical skill." There's nothing wrong with doing stylized art, and this is why it sucks that they're getting rid of breath, because oh Lord, I just realized I'm out of time.